What's going on, family? How is everybody doing? Get your libations, get whatever you need to have the conversation that we are going to have. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day. Sunshine, because we got to shine some light on some stuff, and we got to talk about something that we don't normally talk about, how even climate is impacting us. But as ADOS, we got to talk about that. We got to have that conversation as well, because they done redlined us into some stuff, into some hot boxes. But before we get to any of that, let's just remember that on the 30th, we will be reading, we will be having the book club conversation on They Were Her Property. So please, 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 if you have not done that already, please bookmark that, save it. Save it. If you still got 2 weeks, if you haven't read it, it's not the end of the world. You still have 2 weeks to get your stuff together and come on here and get some information and have a conversation and call in, and we're going to talk about it. And it's been a hard read for a lot of people and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know yet because I haven't read it yet. I like to read stuff right before it. I like to read book club books if I haven't read them before. I like to read them right before, so it's fresh in my mind. So probably this week, late this week, early next week. Anyway, fam, please hit that like button. Please share. Please subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you want to donate, as always, you can go to donatebrown.com or you can go to patreon.com/ycarnell. But please go to subscribe-to-brown.com as well and give me your email address if you have not done that yet. So if you haven't done that yet, please do that. I would appreciate that as well. If you have not done it, hit that bell to get notifications if you're not receiving notifications, or if you have not signed up for notifications. Let's do it. Nothing to it but to do it. So, family, we have to talk to the family, and we have to talk to the whole family. You don't always like the whole family, but what I'm trying to frame here, and you all know if you've been here for a while, I always like to frame things. I've been saying that forever. And I want to frame this in a very specific way, because I've been hearing a lot of things, and I'm on, YouTube and comment sections that you might not see me in. I am on Twitter lurking in places that you might not see me in. I am, I'm not on Facebook as much, right? I think Facebook is kind of going the way of the dodo bird. I don't know. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the point I'm trying to make is that I am around. And I'm around because I like to pay attention to what people say, and I like to respond to concerns and issues. And you've had a lot of, well, why do we have to pay attention to the data? Why do we have to pay attention to a lot of things, the facts? Why do we have to pay attention to science? Why can't we just do whatever it is we do, and we can mix and meet up and do all of that stuff? Why can't we just mix and meet up and network? And isn't that what everybody else does? And why can't we do it that way? And I wanted to kind of address that with an article that came out. And I'm going to loop back in and do a little thing about track record, so we all understand what the track record is right here. So let's just do this first. So there was an article that came out. It might have been today, and it says racist housing practices from the 1930s linked to hotter neighborhoods today. So what they did to our communities when they were redlined has led our communities to be hotter than other communities. Now let me tell you something, family. I just want to make sure we understand one thing. There are a lot of things, before I even get started, that you can tell me. You can lie to yourself. You can lie to me, and that's fine. But there are a lot of things you can tell yourself that you can outrun, that you can outwork, that you're going to be the one who escapes, that you're going to be the next whatever, that you're going to be the first black whatever. But I tell you what you can't do. You can't outrun climate, and you can't outrun the sun. So let's talk about it. So what are they saying, Yvette, about what's going to happen? Well, let's just a few quotes, shall we? As we dive into this information. In a study of 108 urban areas nationwide, the formerly redline neighborhoods of nearly every city studied were hotter than the non-redline neighborhoods, some by nearly 13 degrees. Hotter. Heat hot. Redlining, for those who don't know, we've read The Color of Law and all these things. So, but for those who don't know, redlining refers to the federal government's practice in the 1930s of rating neighborhoods to help mortgage lenders determine which areas of a city were considered risky. The Federal Homeowners Loan Corporation made maps and shaded neighborhoods red that deemed hazardous. That risk level was largely based on the number of African Americans. Why do I always just stuff immigrants in here all the time? Like, okay, I'm not saying that that's a complicated story. The practice, along with the other segregationist housing policies of the time, had lasting effects, from concentrating poverty to stifling home ownership rates. That's what redlining did. That's what redlining was. So to put it in perspective, and we've talked about it here, but to put it in perspective, you could have a neighborhood you could have a white neighborhood that had people running around with switchblades, and that was still a good place that was still a backed mortgage. The government still did not redline that. That's a green neighborhood. You could have a black neighborhood that was like teachers and people who go to work, factory workers, and they would still redline that neighborhood. So it was just based on race. It was just locking us out of home ownership, locking us out of property, locking us out of wealth. That's just what it was. That's redlining in a nutshell. For those of you who may be new to the show, that's what it is. So let me bring this up a little bit bigger. In formerly redlined areas, Americans live with hotter temperatures. So I want you to look at this really quick before we take it off, and we're going to go to the chart that shows the temperatures and everything. But difference between average city temperature and average neighborhood temperature, neighborhood rating, and neighborhood temp on this side. Now, you see Portland there. Now we're going to go to one other chart. Watch this real quick. The largest heat discrepancy. So you have Portland, Denver, Minneapolis, Columbus, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, East Hartford, Connecticut, Indianapolis, Roanoke, Virginia, and Philadelphia. Now let's find out a little bit more about this, shall we? You can still feel those effects literally. Nearly 90 years after those maps were created, redline neighborhoods are hotter than the highest rated neighborhoods by an average of almost 5 degrees, according to the research from Portland State University the Science Museum of Virginia, and Virginia Commonwealth University. The link between higher heat and redline neighborhoods, many of which are still struggling economically from decades of disinvestment, echoes the findings of a joint investigation last September by NPR and the University of Maryland's Howard Center for Investigative Journalism. In an analysis of heat and income in 97 of the most populous U.S. cities, we found low-income areas in the vast majority of those cities were more likely to be hotter than their wealthier counterparts. Those Crayola again. But those poorer areas were also disproportionately communities of color. Crayola. The extra heat can have dangerous and sometimes deadly health consequences. Extreme heat kills more Americans every year than any other weather-related disaster, and heat waves are growing in intensity and frequency as climate change progresses. Now I want you to understand one thing, right? You can't see what people keep trying to tell us is that, Yvette, I don't need any kind of government. Now understand that you're not begging government, you're a citizen. That's what citizenship should afford you. The fact that you go to work, pay tax, you get a W-2. I know you file taxes. I know you wait on your tax return, so I know you file taxes, and if you earn enough, you pay taxes. But citizenship, regardless even of that, citizenship affords all citizens a certain quality of life, or at least it's supposed to. So this hot boxing of our communities is a direct, like, remember what I always say, how you can always draw a line to slavery and everything that came from it. You can draw a line all the way from slavery to redlining to convict lease to all the way to the conversation we're having now. And there's no way to network your way out of that. I always said, people say, well, Yvette, you don't agree with black business. No, I said there's no black business without black politics. How do you all always get that wrong? Everybody got a listening comprehension problem. Well, she says she says she don't black business. No, I said you can't do it without good black politics, good ADOS politics. When I say black, I mean ADOS in the sense of what it means to come from slavery and accrue disadvantage. So let's just finish these last couple of quotes up really, really quick. The way cities are built often creates what is known as an urban heat island, meaning they tend to be hotter than their rural surroundings. That's largely because cities usually have more pavement and concrete, which absorb heat and release it slowly. They also tend to have fewer trees, which cool the air and provide shade. Cities in general are hotter, but green space and concrete are also aren't distributed evenly across an urban area. That can create micro heat islands within a city. In 37 cities around the country, formerly redlined neighborhoods have about half as many trees on average today as the highest rated predominantly a white neighborhood on those maps. Now, family, there's a lot of things you can outrun, or you can make yourself. I don't think there are a lot of things you can but there are a lot of things you can make yourself think that you can outrun. There are a lot of things that if you talk to yourself enough, if you puff your chest up enough in the mirror, you can make yourself think you can do it. Now, you ain't never done it, because you can't fight systemic oppression with individual agency. Of course, some people will get away. You can, if you 6'5" and with dexterity and all that stuff, you might become a ball player, a basketball player. A genius kid might get away. But in terms of collective uplift, see, you were oppressed as part of a collective and made into a bottom caste as part of a collective. You don't turn that lock. You don't find a key for that lock as an individual. It's a collective lock. You need a collective key to unlock it. And you can't do that. I know good and well you're not going to outrun climate. And then how long we going to be running? Don't everybody get tired of running? We had the Great Migration. We had all these things. We just been running. Then we running from people trying to get, even before the Great Migration, you think all the way back to slavery time. People running. You think all the way back to Reconstruction. White people coming, white mobs coming and stealing property, and we running. Don't everybody get tired of running? How much running is everybody going to do? Oh, I'm just going to move from the city. I'd rather go fishing anyway. Just say anything. You can't outrun the sun. You can't outrun the climate. You can't outrun everything that's chasing you. You better turn around and face that dragon at some point and stop talking crazy and wild. Talking about you going to go to a mixer. Anyway. We'll get to that in a second, in a little while, not too long. But I just want to say this really quick. There is evidence. There is evidence that you can't outrun Mother Nature. You have to have all of the resources available to you, and you still might not make it when you come up against Mother Nature. But you need all of the wealth to be whatever you need to be in the best position. Because something very interesting happens if you're a bottom caste and you come up against Mother Nature and your country don't care about you. We've lived through it. Why don't we understand Hurricane Katrina? There is no better lesson. Unfortunately, and rest in peace to everybody who passed and everybody who went through it and still going through it. That was 2005. People still going through that. But that hurricane is no better evidence that you cannot run. Ain't nothing you can do when Mother Nature knocks at your door, and you are far worse off if you are left without resources. You may never rebuild. And that's exactly what we saw happen. You can say what you want. I remember Hurricane Katrina. I remember how many people remember watching it in the chat? How many people remember watching what happened? And let me just say this. Before we get into what was rebuilt and what wasn't rebuilt. You know, when we saw black people, right? Americans, when we saw ADOS people on top of rooftops and calling and begging for help, they were exerting their citizenship and the kind of disaster relief that is supposed to happen as part of that citizenship. Now, that's the job of government, to provide disaster relief. For those of you who don't want to be bothered with government, just opt out and say if a disaster happens, you don't want no parts of it, you got a canoe. You're going to just deal with it. Because what you don't understand is that the government picks winners and losers, and there are some jobs that are only big enough for government to do. Government put us in this situation by everything from benign neglect to redlining, which is actually having a policy that put us on the bottom. But so you need government to show up. Right now we need government to show up for us, but the least you needed back then was for government to be fair, and it wasn't. Now let me tell you something. When you on top of a roof or dealing with whatever these people dealing with, I'm gonna tell you, all these people that you give money to in terms of for these crowdfunding stuff, they not coming to get you. I don't care what you say. Tariq Nasheed ain't got no helicopter, and ain't none of your Boyce Watkins ain't got no plane. He ain't got no medical supplies. He ain't got no National Guard. He don't got none of the stuff that you need if you need help. So at a certain point, you just got to stop being stupid. Those of you who are running around saying you can do it for yourself, you don't understand government. Take a few years off and just read. And anybody who tells you that you shouldn't read, you have to understand that people who tell you to be anti-intellectual and to not bother with books, people who tell you to do that telling somebody to be stupid is a recipe to take advantage of that person. It's not a recipe to empower that person. So people who are telling you don't pay attention to data or books or politics, they're trying to disempower you. And you got to ask yourself why. Why is this person trying to noodle black politics? Ask yourself that. And understand something. What you have to understand is that black New Orleans never recovered. Never recovered. To this day, hasn't recovered. And it can happen anywhere when we talk about these hot boxes or heat islands or whatever you want to call them. You talk about people having strokes. We already stressed. You know what? The last thing you want when you stress is for it to be extra, extra hot. And there's nothing. So you tell them I got to be hot. I got to live with. Wait a minute. I got to live with the consequence of this redlining. And what ADOS is offering me is to be a part of a collective movement that seeks to undo that and transform us into real citizens. And what this other thing is doing is offering me a meetup and a mixer to get it popping. What do you choose? How is it hard? But if you doubt that New Orleans, that didn't, let's talk about what happened. Let's just talk about it, because too many people seem to have forgotten Hurricane Katrina and what it did and what government does and the need for government. So let's just talk about it just for a little bit. 96,000. That's how many fewer African Americans are living in New Orleans now than prior to Hurricane Katrina, which made landfall. This was 2016, this article was written, which made landfall 11 years ago today. Nearly 1 in 3 black residents have not returned after the storm. Think about that. On the east side, they might have shot footage of the 7th Ward, a black working class community that was still only around 60% rebuilt a decade after Katrina. They could have gone to Pontchartrain Park, a black middle class community that actor Wendell Pierce, who had grown up there, dubbed a Black Mayberry. Pontchartrain Park was doing no better than the 7th Ward. Or they might have reported from New Orleans East, a black professional class neighborhood, still pocked by boarded up strip malls and abandoned businesses. It is maybe 80 to 85% rebuilt 11 years after Katrina. Most shocking, in the lower 9th Ward, where the average resident was living on $16,000 a year before the hurricane. You can still drive blocks there and not see a single home. The neighborhood is still missing more than half of its pre-Katrina population. Right? Hold on one second. Okay. Katrina was not an equal opportunity storm. Now hold on. Hold on. I want to park that. I want you to think about that. They said Katrina was not an equal opportunity storm. See, people love to think of what a storm, that's the same thing where they're white poor people too. Well, look at concentrated poverty and come back to me. Because what happened to white people versus black people as a result of this storm is particularly interesting. It's not just a storm and Mother Nature impacts everybody. So let's finish this quote really quick. A black homeowner in New Orleans was more than 3 times as likely to have been flooded as a white homeowner. That wasn't due to bad luck. That wasn't due to bad luck. Because of racially discriminatory housing practices, the high ground was taken by the time banks started loaning money to African Americans who wanted to buy a home. So wait a minute. By the time y'all got around to loaning us, by the time you got around to loaning money for we can buy a house, right? By the time we got around to buying houses, all the good property gone. Is that what you're telling me? By the time we get around to owning some stuff, okay, they finally, that's what they like to tell us, right? They done changed the law. We can do it now. Huh. But by the time you get around to me, I gotta stay in this little flood area. This is where I gotta be in this little flood area now. By the time you get around to me, but no, you should have fixed that. I don't care. See, we don't want to dispel people. Y'all gotta make some of these people move out of this land. Because it's unfair how they got here. Or you got to strip everybody of everything and start over. I don't care. Figure it out. But I can't be made to live here. We already a bottom caste. And now that I have access to a mortgage, I got to live here. Because they already got it up there. And so now I'm flooded and I'm running and the hurricanes. So but it gets worse. It gets worse. Just people who think they can run from the weather and run from climate and just pay attention. Nor has New Orleans experienced an equal opportunity to recover, in no small part because of the white civic leaders who openly advocated for a white, wealthier city. While water still covered most of New Orleans, Jimmy Reese, a prominent local businessman and then head of the business council, told the Wall Street Journal that the city would come back in a completely different way. Demographically, geographically, and politically, or he and other white civil leaders would not return. The money ain't coming back. If y'all let all these Negroes come back or they try to come back, the money ain't coming. We're not doing that no more. Ain't that something? And there was nothing. Understand that that's a moment. Understand that that's a moment where you could put something in place and say, we're going to have this much. This is what government could have done. We're going to have this much affordable housing. Okay, if you don't want to come, we have other business that'll come here, but we're still going to have this much affordable housing. We're still going to put stuff in place. No, they gave him what he wanted. He said, "No, I don't want these people here. We're gonna be different. We're not gonna have all that. The storm finally got rid of people we want to get rid of." Just a couple more. Now, New Orleans no longer has a public hospital, though prior to Katrina, it was home to the nation's oldest one. Before the storm, the city was home to thousands of units of affordable housing and a quarter of the housing projects locals. Now called the Big Four. Large portions of the Big Four had escaped with little or no water damage. Yet elected officials chose to bulldoze all four anyway. So the affordable housing, the projects, they wouldn't even really damaged that bad, but they tear them down anyway because ain't nobody gonna be here to live in them. We're getting rid of these people. The largest housing recovery program in U.S. history, Road Home, was created in the months after Katrina. But the money was dispersed based on the appraised value of a home rather than the cost of rebuilding. Even though a home in a white community was typically appraised at a far higher price than the same house in a black community. Think about that. 5 years after the storm, a federal judge sided with black homeowners in a racial discrimination suit against the program. But by then, officials had already spent more than 98% of the $13 billion that the federal government had committed to Road Home. So you file a lawsuit, but they good at waiting us out. We file a lawsuit, they keep it in court and in court and in court, and when we finally win, they out of money. Ain't that something? You finally win and you out of money. Well, you're right. We should have did it like that, but we ain't got no money. We done spent all the monies. So here's what we're left with. The child poverty rate in New Orleans is now 40%. That's higher than it was before the storm, and more than double the national average. The income disparity between rich and poor is so great that last year Bloomberg declared New Orleans the country's most unequal city. And it's hardly just the poor who are suffering. The median black household in New Orleans in 2013 was $30,000, making $30,000, $5,000 less than it was in 2000, adjusted for inflation. By contrast, the median household income in the white community increased by 40% over the same period and now stands at more than $60,000. You cannot outrun the weather, and you cannot outrun a government that doesn't care about you. There is no way, if we even after winning that loss, they gave all the money away, right? The government should say, well, we have to make up the discrepancy. They were doing it wrong. We have to allot more money to make up for the discrepancy. So if you got $50,000 for your house and we found it takes $80,000 to rebuild, the government has to put some more money in that pot to make up for that discrepancy so that you can rebuild. But who on a mass level? I'm not talking about just some activists, and respect them all in New Orleans or wherever, but on a mass level, were we advocating for something like that? Do we even know about it? And if we're not going to see stories like that, and do something about them and advocate on behalf of them, and understand that government was holding millions of dollars. They gave billions to rebuild Road Home. And they cheated ADOS who were there. Understanding in terms of our wealth level, that matters. When the government has a bunch of money to give away and it starts giving it away, that's why we don't have black farmers. Department of Agriculture, you need loans and crops, you need all kinds of stuff. And they said no. What's the whole thing? Remember when they were just recently they were giving the black farmers the bad seeds? Are we going to advocate for any of that or not? Are we just going to do a mix of a network? I'm just trying to find out what everybody wants to do. Because if you want a network, I need you to stand on that. So if you want a network and then you try to do something and you get cheated, don't come to me or any other ADOS person later on who was trying to do the real thing and say, well, I know we disagreed, but y'all was about that politics and, y'all might have had a point and I need some help. And no, get off my stoop. I don't want to be bothered. No. We have laid out a very clear case. Government is out here giving out all kind of money. But when it gives out money to everybody except you and me, what does that look like for us? It looks like wealth just dropping and us just running from hurricanes. We're running from white supremacists. We're running from everything. We can't keep running. At a certain point, we have to stand together and advocate for a specific agenda. And we have to tell Democrats, if you don't give us that agenda, you might lose the White House. You very well might, because you're not going to get our vote, because we're not doing this. We're not doing this well. We just got to get Trump out of there. Oh, Lord. Y'all done told us that how many times? Oh, you got to vote for Obama again. You can't let Mitt Romney get in there. Oh, Lord. Oh my God. You gotta vote. Well, don't worry about the agenda. You got to vote for Gore. You don't want George W. Bush to get in there. Oh, Lord. But in the midst of all of that, there is no substantive black agenda. There's no reparations agenda. In fact, when Bill Clinton got in there, he threw us to the wolves to chase white votes. Now, this is the moment that we're in. Either we're going to do something about it or we're not. And if we're not, everybody got to let me know. I see ADOS working, and then I see a whole nother group of people. I see ADOS working. I see another group that's real silent and just on the fence trying to see who wins. Then I see another group that wants to go and flip $100 and make $100 $1,000. And I'm going to flip that $1,000 and make that $1,000 $10,000. You see? You understand the plan? What plan? That's not a plan. And in case you missed it, in the height of income inequality, even that $10,000 ain't no money. Have you checked out Jeff Bezos? Anybody? Yeah, I checked him out, Yvette. I'm going to be just like you. That's what I'm going to do. Woo. Some of y'all. Woo. It's hard to love them sometimes. You try. Woo-wee. They're going to fix the sun. Wow. I ain't got to live there. It's going to be hot there. That's not the point. Who walks away thinking that's the point? You have to exercise your right as a citizen. A lot of people ain't going to come. Only government can do certain things. Judge Joe Brown ain't coming either. Ain't none of these people coming. All these people living all these little comfortable lives ain't coming. They ain't coming. They're not coming. I'm just telling you, got to choose. You got to choose. And let me just say this while we're talking about it. Let me just say something. I just want to backtrack just a little bit. Because people be like, well, maybe you're wrong, Yvette. Got a point. And you might not be right. You and Tone, y'all sometimes, I don't know whether y'all be right or y'all be wrong. Well, just go. Now, nobody's right all the time. Right? But do us a favor. Do us a favor. Please go back and just revisit some of our videos. We've been pretty right. I said stuff about Kamala Harris, and so did Antonio Moore. We predicted all of this stuff well before. What she was going to try to do, how she was going to try to do it, and that came to pass. We were right. The whole Bitcoin, we predicted that what Kamala was going to do. We predicted the Bitcoin thing too. All the while you had Boyce Watkins and you had you had all of these people who were talking about it's a craze and this is how you're going to build wealth. Boyce was talking, he was selling classes. You don't hear about them Bitcoin classes no more, but he was selling classes. This is another way to get wealth. And don't listen to the negative naysayers. They don't know what they're talking about. I got people here that's giving me the inside scoop. He had all these people. These people are giving me the inside scoop on Bitcoin. Now, I know the Bitcoin. I'm going to teach you about Bitcoin and we're going to make a bunch of money. Where are the bunch of money stories at? Where the millionaire roll? Because that's what he said. Right? Isn't that what he said? We're going to make a bunch of monies. All the monies. There was another little Negro who was on who was always selling BitConnect, and that was a Ponzi scheme. And boy said, well, I didn't invest in that little thing, but I put a little money in it just to see. Because BitConnect wasn't Bitcoin. BitConnect was a whole scheme, allegedly. But it just got shut down, and people lost everything. And we said at the time, stay away from this. This stuff be complicated. A lot of times it be a bunch of sharks that are leading the small fish in. And the sharks are making big money with all this Bitcoin because they got it in 10 years ago. They done made that money. Now they going to create a craze and lead the little minnow fish in just so they can eat them. Stay away. I don't hear nobody talking about it no more. Well, when else were you right, Yvette? Well, didn't we tell you all about, before y'all was telling us that Meghan Markle was going to be a princess and everything was going to be fine and she's our princess and we're proud of her and it's going to be wonderful. Well, now she's running and they got to leave and somebody came to an event wearing a monkey chain on their neck and poking fun and all kinds of stuff. But no, she was going to be a princess. I thought what happened? What happened to the princess though? Y'all told me she was going to live happily ever after, did you not? Did you not? You got to count. You just got to count. You just got to count. Hold on, I'm bringing up one other thing. Y'all said she was, you don't know, she going to be happy and all the black people showed up celebrating. Now she running. Running. Well, why is she running? Racism, sounds like. Y'all just being so negative. Why y'all being so negative? And I really want y'all to run check on this. I don't hear nothing about the dividends. Was anything paid out yet? Are we gonna go back and just see? Let's just see what it is. No, we finna make money. No, I don't see it yet. I don't see what you're telling me. I just even with the shoes. Oh, we got big things about the shoes and LeVar Ball gonna do the shoes and you talking to the shoe thing. You saying that this shoe idea, Antonio so negative. He said the shoe idea wasn't gonna work. No, Antonio said it's a micro loan. And a donation is not a business because the distribution and the networks are already set up and he's trying to go. Do you hear anything about the shoes lately? What about the shoes? See, because we've been right a lot. And that's not any way to toot any kind of home. I'm not an arrogant person. I'm just saying. You have to kind of look back on that and say, well, I have to pay attention to this. Because they do have a really good track record, Yvette and Tone. And that's not the only thing I'm right about. I guarantee you, I'm right about a lot of stuff. And, and that's not because of any kind of magic or anything like that. That's just because of research and data. Ain't no magic wand, ain't no magic ball. It's just, you just look into the research, look into the data, and it kind of paints a picture. It projects, it suggests a future. It suggests how something is going to turn out. LeVar Ball didn't have any of the distribution of an Adidas and Nike, and this ain't the time where those come. He's not white during that era trying to do it. He's now. So we don't have those shoes. And, I don't like to talk about it, and I wish I didn't have to, but I'm right about this too. I'm absolutely right about this. I would bet money that I'm right about this the foundational Black American Conference. There is no such a thing. But I bet good money, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, let me just put this up in the corner. Hold on a second. Cute flyer though. It's just don't mean nothing. I don't know whether you want to call this the Pan-Africanist mixer or the Pan-Africanist conference, or I don't know what you want to necessarily call this. I don't know. The only thing I know is that we actually undercharged at our conference, which was $15. Undercharged. We didn't charge enough. And so those tickets are going to have to go up because we didn't charge enough. Right? Because we wanted people to get the information. But we didn't do a crowdfunding for it. The ticket is the ticket. The ticket is the ticket. We did not... See, we did not raise 120K. Oh, let's do pocket watching 101. Pocket watching. Yes, because pocket watching is really accountability. That's why people try to make it look like a negative thing. Because they don't want you to look at the pockets. Because then you see that somebody's pocket's getting full and somebody's getting pickpocketed. So let's not look at these pockets. So we undercharged for our event, but it was a day and a half. It was full day Friday, and it lasted about 1 on Saturday. And that was $15. Had a Congressman, Marion Williamson, Dr. Carnell West, and some other speakers as well. And a day and a half. Right? Now, I want you to understand something. Pay close attention to this flyer. And let's pay, one of the things you have to start doing is paying attention to what is being said as well as what is not being said. Don't just pay attention to what is being said. Pay attention to what is not being said. This thing says, it says conference. Does it not? It says conference. But then it says Saturday. Pay attention. It says Saturday. Now that's one day, right? That is one day. Now I want you to look at something else. It says Saturday. That's not a whole day though. A half day conference would be starting at 1 p.m. That would be half a day. If you start at 1 p.m., that's a half a day. I ain't never heard of a half a day conference, but whatever. He's starting at 3. A 1 day. So you have a, what is that? You're going to have a 4-hour conference or a 5-hour conference? I don't know how long it starts. I don't know how long it takes. Then you have, this is not even on the flyer, but you basically create a caste system. See, ADOS is about a collective. We're all in this together. We have no levels. He got levels for you to meet him, the meet and greet, levels for you to take a picture, all kinds of different levels of ways to make money and extract and replicate whiteness and replicate how they do things at the foundational Black American Conference. This, and let me just say this. I don't know if y'all remember, for our first inaugural conference, we gave away the first 150 tickets. So the first 150 were given away. Like, so because of the low cost and then giving away tickets, we undercharged everything. But still, even going up in ticket price, we will never be able to match this. Now let me just say something. This conference, I don't know how long it is. He should tell y'all how long it's going to be. But it might be just 3 to 6. That might be how long it is. Y'all need to have him tell y'all how long this thing is going to be. I don't know how you be FBA and you don't demand any accountability about anything. Somebody calls it a Pan-Africanist pep rally. But what it looks like to me is a meet and greet. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the difference between me and the person who is doing this conference. I respect my people too much to have y'all fly across the country, pay for accommodations at a hotel or Airbnb or however you staying. I respect y'all too much, and I respect your dollar too much to have y'all fly across the country, spend all that money, and only have 4 or 5 hours, maybe only 3 hours, but I don't know. He didn't put it on there. He just said starts at 3. Either way, that's less than half a day for a conference, because it don't say Saturday and Sunday. It says June 20th. That's one day. One day from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7, even 3 to 8. That is a meet and greet. A meet and greet with no food. As far as I know, is he gonna food? He's gonna feed y'all? I don't see it on there. I don't see it say. It don't say hors d'oeuvres, or as Red Fox used to say, horse divers. It don't say nothing on there. What you gonna do in them few hours? And don't tell me, well, Yvette, the venue's expensive, so he couldn't do it. I bet you that venue ain't $120,000, and then he's still gonna charge for tickets and all that upsell and stuff, right? I know it ain't that much, and even if it was, you know what you got to do if you want to lead a community? Here's a pro tip, Tariq. You got to build relationships. So if it's too expensive, you're going to have to find somebody who has a different venue or a better venue. You might have to research. You might have to do some other stuff, but you have a responsibility to give people what they expect, which is a real conference. And this, Playboy, that ain't it. This is a finesse. You're going to pay a few people to come through here, pay for their flights, and give them $500 or whatever you gave people, just like you gave them for your documentaries, and get them out of there, and you're going to keep the bag. Now, let me just say as I end this, is, it bothers me because, FBA people, for 5 minutes, don't say FBA. There is no FBA, because FBA was anchored in ADOS and all of our data and what we put together. So there is no FBA. Tariq Nasheed supporters, forget about how you feel about me or Antonio for 2 minutes. I look at this and I want to say to you, as people who support Tariq Nasheed in all he does, y'all don't ever do anything but show support for that man. When he says, I need 200,000, y'all find 200,000 out of nowhere. Y'all may take your child support money, whatever. I don't know. You all find whatever money he needs for whatever. You show up for him all the time. So as people who support this man, the way that y'all support this man, let me just say to you, you deserve better. That's all. You deserve better than these 3 to 6 or 7 hours that he's going to give you. And he may not even talk to you because you're not in the VIP section. And you coming across country to support this man. You deserve better. You deserve better leadership. You deserve somebody who thinks highly of you and wouldn't let you come around just for a few hours and you got to leave. And that's just a mixer. You deserve more than a mixer. He promised you a conference and he's giving you a mixer. He's giving you a meet and greet. He promised a conference and he's giving you a meet and greet. Forget about me. Forget about Antonio. Just think about the fact that you deserve better than this. And sometimes if you don't judge how you feel, you can really assess the feeling. Like, just take all the judgment away. Don't think about you got to take sides, or just think about this. Just think about this man is having you fly across the country for less than half a day. Like, what do you have to think about the people who follow you to do that? Like, Antonio and I, when we did the ADOS conference, it was like a 45-minute sitting period where people have to sit and get situated. So knock that right out the box. Because people are going to see each other and recognize each other. Hey, I know you. That's 45 minutes out the box. How do you have a conference during dinner time and not give a free or low-cost dinner. We gave a low-cost lunch, just sandwich and chips, $10. Sandwich, chips, I forget what else. It might have been a cookie or something, I don't know. But for, for $10, low cost. Because there are no sitting restaurants in Louisville anyway, but you can't go out of the world. I don't know how many of you have been here. You can't go out and find, that's not how you do it. You have to, especially when your conference is only 4 hours, you can't go nowhere and get no food. How do you have a meet and greet during dinner time and not provide food? And if there's food, it would be on there. Where's the food at? So either it ends at 6 because you're trying to avoid dinner, right? Either it ends at 6 because you're trying to avoid dinner, or you're just not giving dinner. Now, we've been talking about reparations for ADOS all this time, and you went and did a foundational Black American conference with like a Pan-Africanist theme. And Boyce, who hates ADOS. Where are the reparations speakers? This is a finesse. I don't understand. And you deserve better. I may not like you. You may not like me. That's fine. We don't have to like that. But you deserve better than this. And you should demand better than this. You gave him 120. Like, you should ask him, like, they gave Yvette $15 and Yvette and them didn't charge enough. They went in the hole. But why can't you charge $50? Why can't you just charge $75? You already did a $120K fundraiser, and you charging people who didn't pay in the fundraiser. You charging the people who didn't participate in the fundraiser. Why can't we have better than this? You said it was going to be popping. You said you was going to do reparations and you was going to talk about a Black agenda. Well, Boyce doesn't believe in that. Boyce is a bootstrapper. Boyce is a do-for-selfer. Doesn't make sense. This is it's Black authority. Jason Black gonna be there. I heard his voice is gonna be there. I heard he's gonna be there as a phantasm. And let me just say this last thing before I go. The thing that people, and somebody said this online today, and I just want to give people something to think about. Somebody said online today something that was very interesting, and I thought I would just give you something to think about, because one of the criticisms that we get all the time is that, well, Yvette, Tariq was always down with y'all until Antonio criticized him, and then Well, Tariq can't take criticism. That's some child stuff. Let that go. But it's one of the things that was interesting that was brought up is that, like, y'all remember, well, Talib Kweli, bless his heart, he still goes with us all the time. But something I didn't realize is that Tariq, he came at me and Antonio and said they don't like immigrants and all this stuff. And that's not true. We talk about a specific justice claim that's just for ADOS. But one of the most interesting things that somebody pointed out to me, and I stopped following Talib Kweli or Kweli, whatever. I stopped following him like when he went crazy. When he first started going at me, I blocked him and moved on. I didn't realize that, like, even though he was going at me for being ADOS and all this stuff, he never went at Tariq. And Tariq never went at him. You all noticed in that video where Tariq said, F everybody who don't like ADOS, he still never said Talib's name. And he refused to say it. He never clowned him or anything. And somebody pointed out to me that, like, Talib Kweli always kind of clowned us, like he knew that Tariq was never coming at him. I just want to put that out there. He said, so I guess you missed Tariq now also believes ADOS is trash. If you notice, he never said my name in that video, and he's now retweeting ADOS is trash. So now he talking about himself in that video. You played yourself. I knew people would start seeing the real. Every day, dozens of people beg Tariq Nasheed to attack me. They literally hear crying about, I can't wait until Tariq roasts Talib, because he roasts everybody, right? Why wouldn't he roast us? He'd be making Muppets and all kinds of stuff, right? Talib dared him to say anything, and Tariq never did. Tariq never challenged this man. He never does. Why? Because whether he and listen, this is the tale. You got to sometimes watch for the tale. He says, because whether we agree on every issue, we don't. How do you know that y'all don't agree on every issue if y'all ain't had a conversation? Because I know for a fact that Talib was DMing every black blue check and saying, don't retweet ADOS. I know that for a fact. But he never does. Why? Because we agree on, whether we agree on every issue, we don't. He doesn't see me as anti-black. Does that make you cry? And now you start to see the Black Authority and Talib Kweli are sharing the same talking points about, oh, they're just trying to finesse. They're trying to make money off an app. We ain't put no app up. We ain't did none of that stuff. The most we did was sell a t-shirt. And I've been in this space for 10 years now. I sold a t-shirt. But they're using the same talking points. Makes me kind of think, because we've never been xenophobic. Tariq has. He says stuff like, oh, look at this immigrant. He killed his wife or something. We like, what is that? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? We're talking about a justice claim that's just for us and nobody being able to mask our failure in terms of immigration. We're not anti-immigrant. He has said some stuff, but it's funny, Talib never goes at him like that. And now they're both making the same they're making the same arguments, almost as if it's coordinated. He told somebody else. He said, Tariq Nasheed doesn't troll me, you do. Tariq can't save you. And I never noticed, I can't see this because I blocked Tariq and this comes from my Twitter. But like this is from February of 2019, while he was trashing me and ADOS, Talib Kweli was retweeting Tariq Nasheed. See, I put this all before you, ladies and gentlemen, to say one thing. This whole thing that you have laid out, that Tariq was always in favor of us and we just messed it up, that's not the truth. Doesn't appear to be the truth. What appears to have happened is that Tariq and Talib made a gentleman's bargain. You keep my name out of your mouth, I'll keep your name out of mine. I'm in favor of Talib, I'm in favor of Kamala. Tariq, you ain't. Okay. But we both agree that ADOS needs to go. And then maybe, who knows, but maybe the agreement was when ADOS falls apart or when I kill it, then you can take it over. You a good brother, I trust you. We don't know. The only thing we do know is that he was retweeting Tariq. Talib was Kweli, whatever, Kweli, whatever the hell. He was retweeting Tariq when he was trashing me, right? And Tariq ain't never make no doll. He ain't never make no puppet. He ain't never make nothing. He just got over there and shut up. Which would make sense. He's very deferential to celebrities. Go look at any celebrity interview that Tariq Nasheed has ever done. Go look at the Dame Dash one. Oh, what y'all did? Y'all was over there? Tell me about them years over there. And don't tell me that's a good interview. That's not how you could do a good interview. You didn't press him or anything, neither. Well, what did y'all do the clothes company together? Did you? So it makes sense that when he, and I don't even understand how Tariq remains a blue check. How? All the stuff you say, how much trouble you get into. How do you even maintain that? Now, watch, I wake up in the morning and get a blue check just because I said that. But I'm just saying, how do you maintain that? All this race soldier stuff, you said some awful stuff. All the people at this foundational Black American meetup. You know, we're talking about, like, when you look at Boyce and other people that it's Pan-Africanist, we all black, that's undermines reparations. So what is happening here? You have to ask yourself, what's really going on? Somebody told me that Tariq got up something to say, he got up something from the ADOS DMV to say, they got a membership form. That's what chapters do. They have members because they're going to work for something specific. They're not just going to finesse people and run off with the bag. I could write a book on what Tariq doesn't know about politics. But the last thing I just want to say before I go to break is that regardless of how you feel about me or how I feel about you Tariq supporters, y'all deserve better than this. This man should give y'all a conference, a 2-day conference with $120K, and he's still accepting payments. A 2-day conference. And he should give you what he promised you. FBA was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a copycat of ADOS. That's not what this is. Hold a man accountable. That's all you got to do. It's not hard. At a certain point, you just have to do that. So I'm a little bit over. I'm going to go to the break. I'm going to come back, and I want to hear what y'all got to say about the matter. going on, family? We are back. We are back. We are back. And we are going to go straight into the calls. Let's try to keep it as concise as we can, fam. Let's keep it concise. But I want everybody to be able to say what they need to say. But, don't rush yourself too bad. But keep it, keep it concise. And let's just keep it moving so we can get as many people in as we can. 931, I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hey now, how are you, lady?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I got one word for you. I know you are because you're beautiful, and I love you. But I got one word for you.
Okay.
Kerfuffled. Did I say?
Kerfuffled. Yeah, kerfuffled. It was a kerfuffle. I said that last show. It was a real kerfuffle. Kerfuffle for me.
But I'm so excited to hear your voice. It's true. It's a true blessing to me. I'm calling from the state of Tennessee. My name is Yvette, and I just want to take the time out real quickly to thank you and Tom for your groundbreaking work in this journey that we have, that y'all started and that we still have ahead of us. It baffles me that there are so many of us out there that really believe that we ain't owed nothing, and really believe that this is the time out of all times that we're supposed to pull our bootstraps up and keep on going. No, you want to go ahead and not reprimand us, but go ahead and give us those reparations. And when I see, the more and more I come across people who don't understand why we are owed, it hurts me, because I realize how far gone some of us really, really are. Number two, the lineup for his little party is sad. Don't get me wrong. I love some RZA. RZA bring the truth, plain and simple. And I think that we all have to agree to disagree as adults if we're going to make it. However, he has a couple of people that are on that lineup that's a complete joke. For example, the woman that's on that lineup, she's basically famous, and she's Nation of Islam. She's basically famous for saying that black women should condone about 5 of us being with one black man. You can keep, excuse my language, you can keep that bullshit. Not never.
The children, ma'am. The children. Don't keep it. Let's keep it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But when I tell you that woman makes me irate about what she is selling to sisters, it's like that's all we worth. We really can't have no one to ourselves. And here's the thing, we got a lot going on with the decharacterization of black men and black women. And, I know some good brothers out there, just like I know some good sisters. And I don't think that a woman's worth is settling for being with a man and 5 other women in the household, period. And so she's totally discredited. And it's because she is selling this BS to women everywhere. And she's been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. She can keep that crap. But as far as Tariq and Dr. Watkins, when I tell you I started following him, but I only started following him because of Michi X. Because the one thing about Michi X is they can say what they want to say about girlfriend, but she's bringing solutions. They can say what they want to say about you and Tunnel, but y'all making it happen. They can't take that away from y'all. Now, as far as Dr. Watkins, he has absolutely no credibility. None. And to watch this thing unfold the way I have watched it unfold, it is almost, no, I'm sorry, not almost, it is systematically, like they're systematically in cahoots to basically deter us from the fact that we are owed reparations. They want to talk about going over to Ghana and all that good stuff. That's fine. I'll go visit one day. But my ancestors were here. And they were robbed. They were raped. They were stolen from. And I'm going to go ahead and collect what I'm supposed to collect from their blood, plain and simple. And so they keep on trying to deter us and get us off focus with this war and everything from the fact that this is old and y'all going to do it. But what I can say about what you and Tom Talks has done, which is, I'm 41 years old. It's so awesome to see this happen in my lifetime. They going to have to pay us, period. And it's because of y'all. So that's all I needed to say.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Hard work. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. And yeah, we can. And the thing is, we can disagree. I don't know enough about the young man you mentioned. I know he was on the thing, but NOI has I don't know enough about I don't know his role in his role there or what he said. I don't know a lot about him. So. Yeah, but I think we can, depending on what he said, I don't know enough to really, I know that this ain't a reparations conference. I know that. I know this isn't a political conference. I know that this isn't a Black Agenda conference, I know that this isn't what we work for in terms of ADOS. I know it ain't that. And the thing about it is, that's what he said it was going to be, because FBA was just another name for ADOS. You were supposed to be headed in that specific direction. What happened? What happened? What happened? And I told y'all, let me just say this too. I told y'all how this was going to turn out. I don't know if y'all remember when I first did the Tariq video, I said the only thing he's going to do, he's going to start calling me and Antonio ugly and broke. And the only part of it that has changed, I think he did call me a crackhead. And I think he started calling other members of ADOS ugly. Let me just say this. I don't care what the child calls me, but talking about somebody's physicality or about whether they're physically attractive or unattractive is not a counter argument. That's something that you do when you kind of jonesing in high school. Oh, your head so big. Oh, your feet so big. Your mama so ugly. Let me tell you about yourself, boy. This is not your. Aren't you 50, Tariq? Like, let's kind of grow up at this point. Can we do that? I don't know what No Face is doing. I don't know. I mean, mask off. Hashtag for No Face. Hashtag mask off. Like, I'm answering all of his allegations with hashtag mask off. Until you show your face and jump out from behind something, my guy. That's my hashtag for you. I don't talk to phantoms. I don't talk to ghosts. I don't talk to apparitions. I talk to people. Show up. Anyway, going to the next call. I am going to 201. 201. What's your name? And where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, hello?
Yep. What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, wow, I got through. Oh, wow. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I'm at a loss for words. I think I'm going to get through. You have reshaped my whole identity. I don't even know where to begin, but I'll try to keep it short. Yeah, you reshaped my whole identity, the ADO's family, you and Tone. Just, I'm focused, laser focused now. I used to be on the Pan-Africanist type stuff. I went to Ghana twice. I was studying all that stuff, and I was really deep into Pan-Africanism. But I noticed, like, more and more, it's like just binging all you guys' videos because I had to catch up. When you did the Pan-Africanist Dead, I kind of got my feelings a little bit. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm Pan-Africanist. But then, actually, I got things to Kweli because he's actually one of my favorite MCs growing up. I was on the Black Star, Mos Def, Yasin Bey, Common, all that type of stuff. He was one of my favorite rappers growing up. And he kept saying, ADOS is trash, ADOS is trash. I'm like, why is this dude going so hard at ADOS? I don't understand. So then I started doing more research about ADOS. I started binging all the videos. And I was like, man, you guys are making perfect sense to me. Both of my parents are ADOS. Both of my parents. Like, I have no connection to Africa or the Caribbean whatsoever. So once I started doing all the research, and it's like, okay, it started making sense to me. And I was just like, I don't know what these other people are talking about. Like, this makes perfect sense. It's a legal claim. It's a justice claim. We have to be concise and direct about our message when we go for reparations. I just don't know what the other people are talking about. And it's very disheartening to see all these people supposed to be about the black plight and the community and uplift and supposed to be, we're supposed to be together as a unit. But all these people trying to tear you guys down, I just don't understand it. I don't know if you remember, but I'm the one that sent you the email a while back about Karen Hunter. Got to be a big fan of Karen Hunter, Urban View, and all that stuff. And I emailed her not too long ago, and I was just like, what are you guys doing at Urban View? Like, you're not speaking about real black politics. Like, you guys are black gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. And I just told her I was just very disappointed in Urban View as a whole. And I canceled my Urban View subscription, and now my donation is going to go towards you. So whatever money I had going towards Urban View for Sirius XM, you're going to get my donation now. But thank you for allowing me on your line. I do appreciate it. I'm going to get off the line, but I do appreciate everything.
No, I appreciate you, fam. None of this works if you're not here. No, I said none of it works if y'all don't show up. Like, I appreciate you, because none of this works if the ADOS family doesn't show up and do the work, and the work that they're doing in not only in all the chapters. And shout out to y'all who was on Fox Soul, all of y'all. I mean, it's just like not everybody's doing the work, and so it has to be a collective effort. So I thank you, and thank you, Quali, whatever you child, Talib. I like Most Def. Never liked you though. Never liked you.
He's a clown, man. He's a clown, man. This guy ain't about nothing. For all these years, I got all his albums, very first albums, the Black Star albums, all of this stuff. I can't follow this guy no more. Like, I just don't know what he's talking about, man. He's just a straight clown. So, yeah.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it, and just obsessive. Just obsessive. Just obsessive. I can't deal with people who are so obsessive. Like, you just obsessive for no reason. Like, just obsessive. I don't like that. You just been going at it, child. I've been unblocked you. I've been blocked you a long time ago. Anyway, let's go to the next caller. Hold on. I'm going to 310. What's up, Tone?
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna chime in. I'm gonna keep it brief. It's been interesting this last month dealing with all of these people, because I start off with just the reality of I never watched. I don't have nothing. It's funny, people say, "Why don't y'all stop?" I never really started. I've never talked about what this man looks like, his sexuality, his family. All I want to know is whether you went to college or not, and whether you graduated from high school. And that's not about anything other than, do you have like the educational background to be having a discussion with me? And I'm just saying that on a real level, because what it's drilling down to is a bunch of childish talk that I don't really like work on. So stop telling me to stop responding to ignorance. I'm a straight man. I don't even know what. Look, they needed to make this thing LGBTQ to try to trivialize it.
Yep.
Just like they needed to make it right-wing. So let's back up. Let's back all the way up. When you're talking to me, you're dealing with somebody who grew up from a 16-year-old mama. Ask that man who he grew up with. Is it both parents or one? I want to know how you got through life. When you're talking to me, you talk to somebody who had a six-figure check come to my house for an artist that got cheated by the system. Black artist. When you talking to me, you talk to somebody who took that background and went to one of the top 10 institutions in the world. Part of the reasons that ADOS is working is because you got a young woman here that went to Howard and worked on the Hill with congressional members. Barbara Boxer. I don't think y'all understand. She was an aide to Barbara Boxer. What are we talking about here? So I come back to it. I've never talked about what this man looked like, his background, of his family. I'm not going to talk about those things. Stop talking to me about me talking about him because I have it. When I initially came at this man, it's because I don't think we understand. When you don't have that education, you don't understand. You're not talking about opportunity zones. You're talking about the Trump tax cut. So if you're going to be a Trump supporter, there is a political backlash that you have to understand. That puts me in a position where you're diametrically opposed to where I'm trying to go. That's what happened. I don't know if y'all understand politics. And if you don't, that's okay. Just get in the back of the bus. We're not here to talk about opportunity zones and whether the next hustle works. We're here for a reparations discussion. And I fundamentally come back to it because, like with the conference, I don't think y'all understand I lost money on that conference.
Yep.
Not because I was trying to make money, but because we gave away the first 150 tickets, and then we charged $15 a ticket and $10 for food. I'm not here saying whether I should have made money. I'm saying fundamentally that you can't put me in a boat after UCLA, after losing money for a conference, with a guy that might not have graduated from high school that's trying to make money on his conference. Understand that our conference for $15 was 2 days. We had singers. We had Mary Ann Williamson. We had Cornel West. Some look up Cornel West speaking piece. We had all kind of things going on. Understand that we had John Yarmus. John Yarmus, for those people that don't know that are listening right now, is the head of the budget for all of Congress. He was at our conference. Understand that after all that, and this is the problem with anti-intellectualism, is like, look, he got boys at the conference, boys don't know nothing about no business. Y'all take it how y'all want to. Y'all want to believe what you want. I had a 8-minute clip from Byron that I worked on the night before the conference. Yvette, though. Yeah. I had to go with Byron to get him tested. This is one of the richest black men in America. Got a 7-minute clip just for y'all, ADOS, for him to talk to y'all about how bootstraps don't work. But you gonna go listen to some dude that's getting sued right now for stealing stuff about bootstraps. You got the other guy, I think he hit an ADOS person up talking about financial literacy, talking some the no-face people talking about Republican talking points about how black people can't manage their money. That's why reparations wouldn't work. I don't know if everybody understands what ADOS is. Let's slow down. ADOS isn't reparations. ADOS is genius. It is a set of wholly different kind of concepts that takes together ideas that people should have been doing for 40 years, such as black ADOS people, American Citizen Slavery, should have an elevated version of their citizenship. I'm not talking about just dollars. I'm talking about being elite. Figure that out, government. ADOS is not just about giving me a check. It's about elevating me to a status that people who build the country should be at. I can't slow down to explain that to people that didn't go to UCLA with me. And I didn't stop at UCLA. I'm just telling you, look, all of the stuff that people got to say, they can say what they want. I know the truth of things. I've shared stuff with Yvette that I haven't shared with other people. And no, I play this card as good as you can. All I'm saying to you is I don't want to hear from nobody who played the card worse than me. That's worse. I don't want to hear from nobody who didn't play a card. I'm coming back to this thing, and I still don't have nothing to say physically about this, man. That's some weird stuff to be talking about how men look and cartoons and all this. That's not how I move. All I want to know is if you're going to do something, just do it for black people rights. If it's 3 to 6, that's not a conference. That's just a get-together. If it's 3 to 8, to feed the people. Just say you're going to do it or not. Stop calling this woman. Look, when I met her, I didn't ask her sexuality for 2 years. This is not my business. It's awful the way that she's been treated over her sexuality over the course of the last 2 months. And then Talib touched on this some too. We haven't been there as a country since like 2000. And you got these people running around talking about all kind of nasty stuff about sexuality.
And it's weird.
And it's weird.
It's hate speech and it's weird.
It's hate speech.
Yep.
No, hold on, Yvette.
Yeah.
It is hate speech.
It's true.
It is diametrically opposed to civil rights. Understand? That's the hard part about people. Like when you're a lawyer, you try to talk to other people, and they say, "What do you mean is hate speech?" If you say to me, "What do you mean is hate speech?" for calling this woman strappy, then you don't understand basic tenets of our society. You're not allowed to say that. I have no idea how Twitter leaves that up, but that is hate speech. It's homophobic. As soon as I said homophobic, they said I'm gay. How am I gay for saying homophobic? That's weird. And I'm coming back to it because I say again, we charge $15 a ticket, and then people was in the overflow. We moved them over when there was space. We didn't charge. When Cornell was available, we let people take pictures, and Mary Ann was there, and Dr. Cosby had the singers, and it was a great event, and we're gonna do another one October this year. Leading Black America through the Economic Underground Railroad. But I just come back to it, and I'm just saying to you that if you look, because he also shared a message between me and him. I ain't do that. He shared a message, bro, between me. But it's cool, you shared it. But I was still on some love shit. Because y'all don't really understand me. Because what everybody does, is put people in categories. No, I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the ghetto.
Yep.
Across the street from me is where they first saw crack cocaine. Rick Ross saw crack cocaine across the street from where I grew up. I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to talk that way to this dude. I'm just trying to do politics. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to do the whole what you look like and all that. That's kid stuff. Just do politics. But if you got to do politics, you're going to have to get well read. Join the book club. Join a book club. Do a different book club. We need to all get on the page of doing. Right now, everybody is basically trying to stop us from getting reparations. Yep. That's what all this stuff that Talib Ali is doing. All of it, Yvette, when deal with reparations. We like it like it is, with Loudoun County, with feces in the backyard, with Parchment Prison, the way it is. We like it like it is, with lead in the water and Flint. We like it like it is because we get to be celebrities. I get to be Talib Kweli with these professors affairs, second generation mixed immigrant, and just basically tell you a xenophobe for saying that you're older than. And a specific access and privilege. My mama had me at 16. Hold up. I don't have two professors that's going to give me some inheritance or been giving me $100, $200 here and there. I'm just saying to y'all, like, when we start breaking this whole thing down, I'm not here to talk about that man's sexuality, his family, none of that stuff. What I am here to do is just defend myself, first of all, defend Yvette as well, and any little ADOS people that don't deserve to be doxxed and have their information put out. But at the same time, I'll say that if you're going to do a conference, just be clear with people about what it is. Because if I'm going to hold myself to that standard, I'm going to hold anybody else to. All right.
Appreciate it, Tone. Thank you so much as always. Thank you so much as always, fam. Yeah, I mean, he's right. Like, you know, it's hate speech, but it's also very weird. And I think that we have lost the ability to see when people are odd people. To see when somebody who is 50 is operating at like a middle school level. You know, it's even odd when you go, excuse me, when you go to when you go to Tariq Nasheed's Wikipedia page and it only has his elementary school. Like, did you drop out of elementary? Like, what did you do? Like, why is there nothing about your background? Well, there's a little something. And I left it alone. But I don't understand what's going on with you and how odd, you know, this is oddball stuff. And everything that he does is a way. See, the thing is, he doesn't want us to get reparations as a group. He just wants the money to flow to him. He wants you to watch him and keep paying him money and do things. He doesn't want to see anybody else get attention, because if we get attention and we get attention for the right things, then see, attention is a limited resource. Your attention can only go so many ways. So if you start putting attention over here and say, I'm going to do something with ADOS with these politics, I might not be interested in watching you talk about how other grown people look. I might not be as interested in that. And on some level, he has to know that. But everybody's going to have to make a choice, and everybody gets the politics they deserve. I've said that more times than I can count, and it's coming to fruition. So it's choice time. I am going now to 301. 301, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing, Yvette? Thank you for taking my phone call. Shout out to Tone for dropping some knowledge on it. This is Rashid here from PG County. And I called in again because, I've been hearing a lot about Talib Kweli as well. Like, and I'm like, I'm not going to lie to you. I never purchased one of his CDs. I never heard his music growing up. Maybe I have and I ain't know. But, I don't know who this guy is. But my sister, there's about a 10-year age gap between me and my siblings. And there's about a 10 to 13-year age gap. So, they grew up they grew up during the 90s where where my main high school years were in the early 2000s. So, so my sister was talking to me about how, Kweli and how, ADOS is an anti-immigrant group and ADOS hates people over here. And I was like, well, I'm a member of the ADOS Baltimore chapter, and I'm going through the paperwork. I guess I'm not chatting the right person, but I got to chat the right person to get this ADOS DMV paperwork going through, and I'm an official member because I haven't showed up for some things, but I haven't actually been there today. Sorry about that, y'all. But anyway, so I called in because I just thought it was crazy at this guy's reach. Like, at first I was like, man, this guy is only getting like 10 and 11, likes and retweets on his comments. And this guy's supposed to have 1 million followers. So, he blocked us. But I went on him. I was like, nah, bro, like, your retweets and your interactions are like mine. And at the time I had like 600 followers. I was like, so what that shows me is that the ADOS group of black people that are present on Twitter are actually interactive. We're actually sharing information back and forth. We're giving documentation, history books. We're actually talking to each other about not helpful documentaries. Things that actually do watch. Like that PBS documentary we was all sharing. We was all watching it together when it was on. And it's like, so I'm not too sure why people are so readily, believing of this individual who's, supposed to be a celebrity or something from like 10, 20 years ago, whatever. But, my sister, she is married to, well, he's not an immigrant, but his mother, right? That's from their Jamaican descent. So, I was talking to her, and I'm like, well, your husband gets to make a demarcation from, us and from the country that he's in, even though he was born here, right? He's still saying that he's Jamaican. So why are we not making a demarcation to say, no, we're a specific lineage group and that the country has done things to us? Because I recognize that whenever I go, when I'm talking to the family about this type of stuff, that, there is a lot of pan-Africanism that comes out, because, a lot of people have benefited from this, just a lot of stuff. And, it's, I don't want to say it's like, well, let me just say this. My parents are boomers, and my siblings are younger Gen Xers. So, I understand what you guys are talking about, being boomerhood, and I understand what you guys are talking about when it's like, that boomer needs to have an idea in their head of how life is going in order for your life to progress and be comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when I'm trying to talk to them, I just try to, sit them aside and show them information, like, we're a bottom group, and this is what people who are immigrants to the country can expect, and it's just like, I would hope that everybody who sees this guy, being a stalker on Twitter would report this individual, report the tweets he makes, because, man, I'm about to do like 15 reports in like an hour, because when you do hate speech, it allows you to choose which of the
which
comments are hate speech.
Yeah. And let me just say this. Let me just say this, fam. Let me just say this while you're going while it's on my mind. When you see somebody get doxxed, because one of the interesting things that happened, the little people who were doxing, they were doxing for Talib Kweli. Now they're doing the same thing for Tariq. I mean, anybody who goes at him, they're doxing, right? So when you see that, we have to remain vigilant. I know it's a headache, but when you see that happen, you have to report it, because that is a violation. I don't care if the people just keep starting new accounts. You have to keep reporting it, because that is a violation of Twitter's terms of service, and we have to hold them to that. Now, I don't know why they can't get this person's IP or these people's IP, but you have to report. I know it's a headache, but just report, because you next. That's what they're doing now, because they ain't got nothing left but to do that.
No honor amongst the grifters.
Yeah, no, don't honor amongst grifters. Well, there is some honor. They work together now.
until it's convenient to shove each other in the back.
Oh yeah.
This phone call. Thank you for taking my phone call. But shouts out to Tone, because we should be reporting, because we definitely should do mass reporting, because this stuff is ridiculous that we're talking about right now. But y'all have a nice night. Bye-bye.
You too. You have a good one. Thank you so much, fam. Appreciate it. I am going now. What call am I going to now? I think I'm going to 601. 601. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Miss Yvette, this is Spencer Spain. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to tell you again how thankful I am to you and Tone to be doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
The professors on ADOS and also the reparations movement for ourselves. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you back.
Well, again, I just want to talk about the topics that you talked about today. It's all to be done on purpose, to keep us down, to keep us in a process of just bewilderment and dumbfoundedness. Because if they keep us down, we won't, be able to think for ourselves. But we're in a new era now. We're able to come forth and do what we need to do to get what we deserve. And going back to Talib Kweli and Tariq, again, man, these guys do not know any of the information that you guys have studied all this time, years of knowledge that you guys have put into these videos. They don't have this information. They're not doing the work. They're not putting forth the effort to educate those. They're just doing what they're doing for entertainment. Boyce Watkins, for another example. How many people that listen to this radio show, listen to his stuff, listen to his social media, how many of them are millionaires? I want them to show exactly what they have been shown to become a millionaire. Show it. Bring up your portfolios. Show how he has had you invest in Bitcoin. Show how he has had you invest in whatever stock, whatever individual stock, anything that helps you become a millionaire. It can't. They won't. They won't be able to. And what you guys have done speaks to the collective, not the individual. No individual is going to overtake what these folks have done to keep us down. No matter what you do, they're going to move the goalposts to here, there, over here. And now you're doing all of these things, jumping through all of these hoops to try to become what they are instead of doing what we should have been doing for the last 60 years as collective politics.
Yeah, you're right. You're right,
I mean, well, again, I just think that at this point, what we need to do is to continue to let you educate us, continue to let you atone, provide the information, and what we in our native chapters, I've just recently become a member of the Mississippi ADOS group, and I'm getting together with members, and I want to get this thing going. I tell guys all the time, let's meet up. I've been talking with Lakeith from the Mississippi group, and we're talking about what we need to do to improve upon the things and the conditions in this state.
Okay.
And so, again, I got to thank you guys, because without you guys, how do you go about, verbalizing this information, articulating it? You can't unless you have the information first to be able to back it up. And then once you know the information, you have to stand on your square. So when you're talking with other people, you have to have the last word. You can't get tired. They must get tired and say, you know what, I'm done talking. At the very least, they got to be like, I'm done talking. I don't want to talk about it no more. And I'm sorry. I'd rather do it that way than to just relent and say, I just can't. But I'm going to just keep going as hard as I can, talking about as much of this information as I can to make sure we are doing what we need to do to get ourselves to what we deserve. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tone. Thank you. I love you. I want you to continue to do what you're doing, and we're going to get there.
All right, fam. Listen, I appreciate you, fam. And listen, all of y'all who are doing it, do it. Just make sure you engage in self-care. Make sure you take some time to take care of yourself. Just make sure you don't, we gonna do it. You exactly right, but take care. Self-care is key. Especially in this, there's a lot of toxic stuff. People throwing around weird insults. A lot of stuff going on. You have to have some self-care. You have to. And thank you, fam. I'm going to 215. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette.
Hey.
My name is Morgan. I'm from Philly. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm excited. I can't believe I actually got this. Okay. So there's a lot of things I would like to say, but one of the first things that stands out is that when you organize any kind of resistance, this is what happens. You're just seeing it on a wider scale because of the platform that you have and the people that are coming at you. But that's just how it is. It's also very, to me, it's just not even calculated. Like the NAACP does a better job of this. The other thing, Asada would say that political education is key, and that is what is lacking. And the audience that these people have, like George Rashid and Tariq Kweli, they are not educated enough. So that is going to fly right over their heads every time, and even on the street level, that demographic and that following, that's just how it is. And people on the other side of that get it, need to come together and try to figure out how to get it to them. And I still have yet to figure that out. I remember watching Roland Martin when Dr. Umar Johnson was on there.
I remember that.
And he did a good job of turning it around where you're now rooting for Umar Johnson, but that is the perfect example of the black community in terms of political education. That's what it is right there. And people will root for Umar Johnson because nobody wants to see a Roland Martin and his Sadidi crew take somebody like that down. And that's a reckoning that this community needs that nobody wants to talk about. And that's the reason why things fester the way they do and things are able to continue the way they are. because you have one side that is better and they're doing more, and the other side is not even getting it. So I don't know how that's going to be transferred and how we're going to push this agenda in a way where everybody gets it, or at least some, because you need them, but you don't want to work with them because it's frustrating. So I don't know. I think that there's an element of black teachers that deal with that on a daily basis, and people probably need to pull from that because that is a thing, especially in these urban schools. My sister is a high school teacher, and I just know that when she talks to people in Philadelphia about certain issues, she has a way of getting across that I just don't, because I get frustrated because I just feel like you should know, And when you know you're that kind of person, you can only relate to certain people. But those aren't the people you need to relate to because they already know. So you gotta figure out a way to train yourself, and those things have to be talked about. Because if it's not talked about, it's going to continue and get what's going on forever.
Okay.
So, those are just my points. I actually want to say, like, you have also everybody I talk to, it's kind of like a secret club. Like, you get into this conversation, first thing is like Kamala Harris comes up, and then you're like, I'm ADOS. So I really appreciate that. And you have actually just made everything full circle, and everything makes sense. And the way I look at it, I say that when I do talk to people that are resistant of even the thought of reparation payment, this is a debt, right? And this, the U.S. government is a deadbeat, and they need to pay their debt, and that's just simple. That's it. Nothing else
no debate.
to come with that. Either you believe that you have to pay your debts, and so should the government, or you don't. And I just simplify it like that.
Okay. I agree with that, fam. I agree with that. Yeah, it's a debt. It's not an argument. And I agree with that. Thank you, fam. Yeah. I appreciate you calling in. That's a good in terms of teachers. And I agree with that. Like, it's not people, for too long we've allowed people to make reparations into an argument. Well, it's debate. Is it owed? Is it not? Should we pay? Who should pay? How should we do it? Why would we do it? That's just a stalling tactic. The debt is just the debt. Like when somebody, like if you owe a credit card company, or you owe your car note, if your car note is late, when they call there, you don't be like, should I owe it? How do I owe it? Should I pay you? How should I pay you? Why should I pay you? Who else should be involved? Who else is involved in this? No, you gotta pay the note. They're gonna be like, what's wrong with you? You on drugs? This is your car note. This is the debt. That's how we should approach reparations. I agree with her. It's the debt. Is the debt. So I'm going now to 717. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, this is ADOS North. I'm calling from LA.
What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call again, Yvette.
No problem.
I just wanted to, I just wanted to get in real quick and say this. See, what you're seeing is, so far as Tariq Nasheed and all these other folks and this supposed conference, and I'm gonna tie it into redlining as well. I'm going to it. Trust me, I'm going to it. But anyway, with these individuals as well as their followers, because that's what it is. They're following them. You're looking at cognitive dissonance. I know that's not a word that's used every day, but that's what's going on. Any two times if they can come in and they can stalk your lives, and they can come in and they can, say you said this, that, the third, and follow you on Twitter, and these are his followers I'm talking about, then they've heard you, Tone, they've heard some of the other individuals who are repping for ADOS say things that are truthful. Now, when you continue to say stupid things, that means you just don't get it. You heard the truth, but you've chosen to go another way. So that's cognitive dissonance. And with those type of individuals, it's not even it's no use talking to them. Point blank, period. There's no use talking to them. It's literally a waste of time. So if they can't understand that redlining causes us to be where we are, right? That redlining and all the other things that have been done to ADOS, one thing that gets another, and that's why we are where we are. Then again, I'm not going to you, Tone, the other folks who deal with ADOS should not continue to deal with folks who clearly have cognitive dissidents. And that's really all I had to say. I
Thank you,
appreciate you.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate you back.
you. And again, love you.
Love you back.
Good night.
You
Bye,
have a
bye.
good night too, fam. You have a good night too.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, they got some kind of problems. What time is it? Okay, I'm going to another call. I am going now to I'm going to 646. 646. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. It's Miguel from New Jersey.
What's going on, Jersey?
What's going on? Thanks again for another wonderful podcast. And I had called in a couple of weeks ago when I talked about the zero knowledge transfer from listening to people like Tariq Nasheed.
Okay.
I can't even believe I can't believe people are still talking about him 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after this. But I want to give you a very hark back to the caller a couple of calls ago, where the gentleman talked about I guess people in his family that were through marriage in Jamaica, whatever. It's funny. The whole reason behind labeling ADOS is to identify us specifically from other groups because of the things that have impacted us by the government in this country. I find it weird how every single group, regardless of whether they're Caribbean, African, Asian, whatever, they all self-identify ethnically and culturally. What is the problem now with African Americans identifying themselves under the moniker of ADOS for a specific justice claim? Everybody else can identify themselves, swing their flag, go to parades, this, that, and the other, but this group, oh no, we got to be flat black. We got to be everybody's friend. Listen, and it's not even that we're trying to be anyone's enemy. We're just saying, hey, this is us. I'm going to give you a very important example I learned real quick when I was younger.
Okay.
I had a friend that I worked with who was born and raised in Jamaica. She came from Jamaica at the age of 15, and we met when she was about 24. I graduated from college first, and she graduated from college about 2 years after me. We both worked in a bank, and once I got my degree, I tried to apply for different jobs in management and move up for retail banking. And I just couldn't get anything. And one day I said, man, it must be racism because when you look at the requirements, I'm actually overqualified. I don't need to get interviews.
Yeah.
She said to me, you know what, Miguel, maybe it's just you. And I understood where some of that came from based on her culture, because I have people that are from the Caribbean in my family. I'm actually full-blooded African American, but I know some of their sentiment. Well, when she graduated, she went through the process of what I was trying to do, get promoted, go on job interviews within the bank, yada, yada, yada. When she got the same results that I got, no interviews, you know what she said to me?
What?
She said, Miguel, this must be racism. You know what? Can you help me write a letter to the EEOC? Now, wait a doggone minute here.
No.
You mean to tell me that when it's me, African American, I'm lazy and maybe it's me and something wrong with me. But when it's you want to go to the government and ask for assistance. And then on top of that, ask an ADOS person to help you write or something.
Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? Ain't that something else?
That ain't no ally right there.
There you go. So listen, ADOS people, and I need to reach out to New Jersey ADOS because I need to sync up with them on their Twitter. I got to get me a Twitter handle. I also got to finish reading this book. When they owned us, I got to finish reading that because I want to make sure when they were her property. I got to finish reading that because I got to make this book club. But I tell you, Yvette, thank you again.
Thank you,
for teaching. You've enlightened me and enlightened so many others. And like I said 2 weeks ago, if you're not gleaning information from the people around you, you need to cut them loose.
Absolutely.
You cut them loose. That's all I want to say, y'all.
Absolutely. I thank you for that, fam. I appreciate it. And let me just say, some of you all who have said before, well, I just listen to Rick for fun. Nah, he's toxic, dude. Like it's like we got some really funny comedians online on Instagram that don't have this level of toxicity in terms of you're just pouring poison into our politics. and smearing ADOS to the point to where you make people not want to do collective transformational politics. And it's just like, it's not just his friend who just happened to be Jamaican. We have a lot of ADOS people like Tariq who are not allies. We don't really talk about the non-allies among us or the turncoats among us as much. We talk about them a lot in terms of the CBC and people of power, but it's a lot of them who are on like little purchase, but they're big enough purchase for them. Full ADOS. But you just involved in some kind of smear campaign, and allegedly I've been working with Talib Kweli because you waiting for it, and then you gonna take over and you gonna do a conference a year or something and make 200 off of it in addition to everything else you need. I'm so tired of these con people. Oh, anyway, fam, I'm going to my last call. I'm going to 919. 919, what's your name? What's your area code? I mean, not your area code, Lord. What's your name? Where you calling from? I'm looking at your area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
This is Leroy Williams. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Okay.
Stand down for me. Listen, I was at the conference, and I appreciate all the work that you and Tom are doing and have done. I want to talk tonight about the work that we have put in, me and my family down here in Rocky Mountain. Mm-hmm. Now, we go to all these events, and ADOS is represented. Mm-hmm. We was at Juneteenth. We represented there. We was in the Christmas parade in Rocky Mountain. First time that ADOS has showed up in that parade, we was there. Now, the big event that's coming up this weekend is the Martin Luther King celebration here in Rocky Mountain. It's going to be at the Wesleyan College. We have another speaker that's in the justice system. Last year, we had one, spoke about DACA. We got up, we walked out. This year, we have another speaker coming, Supreme Court, North Carolina. Okay. And we have already addressed her in her biography that came up Duke University. Okay. The questions needed to be asked, and it took 2 weeks for her to get back to it. Now, we're going to be there. And this, the other America that Martin Luther King spoke about in his last speech about going to D.C. to get his check, that conversation must be continued at this ceremony. And we realize we're going to have a lot of bourgeois Negroes there, all dressed up, and going to let other people speak for us. Okay. But no more. No more do they speak for us. It's not going to be allowed. People of color, it's not going to be spoke to us here in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. We are a unique group of people, and we must be treated as such and given the space to respond for the injustice that we have received. So I just want to say that, and hopefully across this country, ADOS push back on these ceremonies and make sure that our voices are heard and that they know that reparations must be given to us. So I just want to share that with you.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
We're in this fight with you. You fight your fight, but we're here in North Carolina. We're going to fight this fight.
I appreciate it. Thank you, fam. And I can hear the conviction in your voice, and I appreciate that. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. I can hear that conviction in that man's voice. And he's Rocky Mountain. God, I meant to ask him, if you still listening, sir, if anybody's in Rocky Mountain, put your name in the chat so people will know or whatever, so they can get together. Yeah, we are coming up on that. We are coming up on that now, that day. And I think this is a good time to kind of push back and press back against people who want to come. And everybody want to talk about King, but nobody wants to talk about what King said about coming to get our check. So everybody wants to talk about King. Everybody pulls out quotes about, well, King just loved everybody. But no, you don't want to deal with that King. You don't want to deal with what might have got King killed. Like when he started talking about all that stuff and we going to get our check, all of a sudden it was over. So we don't want to talk about it. We want to piecemeal and pick King apart. People who haven't really read King, right? And so that's also a problem. But I want to thank you, fam, for showing up tonight as you always do and having the conversation. The conversation has been wonderful as usual. You know, some great calls. I want to thank everybody for it. Before you go, family, and before you finish your libations, please. Yeah, he said Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, I think. I thought he said Rocky Mountain, but somebody said Raleigh. But I thought he said Rocky Mountain. Anyway, please hit the like button before you go. Just hit that like button one time. Just hit that like button before you go. It don't cost you nothing to hit the like button before you go. There's 2,300 in there. Hit the like button. Anyway, hit the bell if you're not getting notifications. Subscribe. If you want to donate, of course, go to donatebrown.com. If you want a shirt, you can always go to adosmerch.com. Also, patreon.com/ycarnell if you want to donate for free. You can hit that like button, and you can also go to subscribe-to-brown.com. Really, and just if you haven't given me your email address, give it to me. I rarely use it. I just want to have it. I would appreciate it. Again, that's absolutely cost you absolutely nothing to do that. So I would appreciate if you would do that as well. Do not forget, on the 30th of this month, we will be having the book club. They Were Her Property. We will be having a discussion about that, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna have a whole. Yeah, he said Rocky Mountain. That's right, fam. Y'all get it. Tell them, fam. They Were Her Property. We're going to have that discussion on, that's a Thursday, January the 30th. So we'll have the Monday show, the Wednesday show, and then we'll also have the Thursday book club. So please, fam, please, if you haven't read the book, you still got 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks. Today's what? Today's what? The 15th? Well, 16th now. So, fam, please get into that. I'm going to let y'all go so that you can get to bed, for those on the East Coast or whatever, and finish your libations, get ready to go to work, whatever you got to do tomorrow. And I appreciate you showing up as always, fam. Love you. Keep up the good fight. But always, fam, make sure no matter what you do, you engage in self-care. Don't let these people drive you crazy and get on your nerves. And until next time, be easy reason.